Hello, welcome to Scott's Odyssey. We're here to both celebrate a great inventor in Huntington County, Pennsylvania, and mourn a great loss. When they were not being chased out by the Indians, early pioneers settled homesteads, farms, and innovated technology through all of Huntington County, Pennsylvania. Born and raised in 1847, out of Shade Gap, the son of Civil War veteran Captain Bryce Xavier and grandson to militia volunteer of the Grand Army of the Republic, Alexander, was one of Huntington's most inventive entrepreneurs. John Chalmers Blair, more commonly known as J.C. Blair. See you in a minute. Welcome back. If you've watched my videos before, thank you for your patronage, and I hope you enjoy this story of a founding industrial inventor and entrepreneur. If you're new to Scott's Odyssey, welcome aboard, and please take a moment to click subscribe for more of this journey through ODDySEEy stories of who we once were. JC was the youngest of four brothers within the Bryce Xavier Blair bloodline and had an affinity to do a lot of thinking and a lot of reading. When he turned 20 years of age, he started his own business career and bought a small bookstore in the borough of Huntington in 1867. During the next 10 years, he expanded the bookstore to include printing services, stationery, wallpaper, and Sunday school books. JC seems to have had a slightly obsessive and compulsive mentality to things being perfect and orderly, as is often found with many people who have a devout interest in stationery. This, along with his apparent aberration of things that can make you sickly and a slight antisocial compulsion to not be directly around people, which is consequently also found in many inventors, led directly to his drive to stop children using slates for their schoolwork. What's that? You don't understand how children using chalk on a slate is connected to J.C. Blair's drive. Well, it's simple. When the children were told to clean their slate, they would spit on their slate and use the hem of their shirt to wipe it clean. This fueled an obsession of J.C. to create a manner in which paper could be distributed, which would allow the students to remain orderly by not having loose paper everywhere, and clean where they could easily use a new piece of paper when needed and stop their spitting and carrying all those germs on their shirts. Enter a 10-year period of trial and error that included metal clasps and clips for holding wads of paper together that ultimately led to the creation of the Keystone binding of paper process, officially called the Keystone Tablet of Blair's Keystone Stationery, a binding of clean paper, both rolled and unrolled, lines or no lines, bound at the top and completed with a very nice piece of cardboard for the back and front that would protect the paper in between. Not only that, but unlike ever before, the cardboard on the front was made of a lighter stock than the firm cardboard of the back, and even had fancy printed pictures on it to make it much more attractive. Something so common in today's global society that you might have forgotten that someone had to invent it. Since 100 BC, at the invention of paper, until 1870 AD, that's 1,970 years, nobody had ever found an effective way to bind sheets of paper together for use in the form of a tablet. In 1878, the very first mass shipment of tablet paper for writing and drawing was made at the new J.C. Blair Stationer and Printer Factory. In the course of a year, his distribution had exceeded over 6,000 booksellers and stationers. From 1879 to 1881, J.C. Blair's requests for tablets were fulfilled at his one-room printing shop, but it was growing so fast that in 1884, the building of a new 5-story addition to their existing building was planned and completed by 1885. It was the tallest man-made structure between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh at that time. During that point, his company was running the ruling machines with 25 miles of paper on both sides every day. Not only did the building provide adequate space and storage, but it sat less than 50 feet away from the Pennsylvania Main Line Railroad and became an official stop for rail shipping. In 1889, J.C. Blair's company, now called Blair's Keystone Stationery Manufactory, had grown to a point of utilizing representative companies such as the Pen Tablet Company, a stationery distributor being run out of New York and Philadelphia by John A. Jackson, who eventually opened a location right in Huntingdon, just up the block from the J.C. Blair factory. In 1891, the Blair's Keystone Stationery Manufactory was formally incorporated into the J.C. Blair Company and continued to produce the highest quality stationeries as well as the most cutting-edge machines to produce their products. The factory expanded several more times and to several more locations. On June 3rd, 1897, John Chalmers Blair passed on, and his company continued on with his processes until it was purchased by Western Tablet and Stationery Corporation, or Westlab, in 1929. In 1965, the J.C. Blair Company was so big that they purchased a 20-acre tract of land, built a large 8-acre building on it, and relocated all of the existing facilities into a centralized location called the Blair Plant, located in Alexandria, Pennsylvania, just 9 miles away. In 1966, Westlab merged with Mead Corporation, and in 1974, the Blair name was dropped forever. It was replaced with the name Mead Products, who continued building on J.C. Blair's patents and legacy, creating famous and iconic products such as the marble-bound notebook and the rage of the 80s, the Trapper Keeper, as well as 5-star at-a-glance Cambridge Day Runner products. The Mead Corporation merged with Westvaco in 2002 and became Mead Westvaco, and later rediversified in 2012 into Mead Westvaco, merging with ACCO Brands, which focused on consumer office products, while the main company, Mead Westvaco, went in the direction of packaging materials. When I started this story, I said it was to celebrate a great inventor in Huntingdon County, Pennsylvania, and mourn a great loss. Well, you saw the corporate aspects in many pictures of a once great location, but in the early morning of May 12, 2020, the former J.C. Blair Company building, which had been primarily used by Huntingdon Electric Motor Services since 1969, and more recently an apartment building with over 100 residents, suffered a tragic fire that burned for 18 hours. Although I sought permission through local police department and other means, couldn't get any permission to actually go onto the property. But what I want to show you here is what it looks like now, what we have left now of the Blair house. So we're going to flip this camera around, and you can see there's a fence. I'm not going to hop the fence. They're worried about looters because there are still some building pieces left. But there you have it. That's what's left of the back side of the Blair building. That's the original building that had the 5 stories added to the very top. That section was added on in 1930. That was the primary location for the Huntingdon Electric Motor Company. There was a powerhouse building that was in this empty parking lot. They did leave the stack. Let's get some more footage. Although there are several petitions and motions in place to attempt the saving of some part of this historic location, at the time of this video, the current prospect of any part of this location existing in the future beyond photographs and memories is grim at best. Let's hope I'm wrong. I'll see you on the next video.